Hello and welcome to Life Odyssey. You are about to begin a journey of absolute, unbreakable commitment. This is not an ordinary book. It is a vow, a declaration that no external force, no past mistake, and no inner doubt gets to determine your conclusion. For the next chapters, you are shifting from hoping for victory to demanding it. Prepare to dismantle the limiting beliefs that have held you captive and unleash the persistent, powerful winner that has always resided within you. The story of defeat is over. Your commitment to the win begins now. Chapter 1. The Day We Draw the Line. Hello and welcome. Take a deep breath with me right now. A breath to acknowledge the weight you've been carrying. The journey you've endured, the path you've walked to arrive at this very moment. If you are listening to this, you have faced something, perhaps many things, that tried to tell you to quit, tried to tell you that this battle was too big, the mountain too steep, the goal too far away. You might have felt defeated, weary, and tempted to walk away from a dream, a goal, or even just the belief in your own strength. I know that feeling. We all do. But today, we stop. Today, we stand in this moment in time and we do something profound. We draw a line. The past is a powerful teacher, but it is a terrible master. Everything that has happened, every fall, every rejection, every doubt planted in your mind is now information. It is data. It is not a final verdict on who you are or what you are capable of. This audiobook is not just a feel-good mantra. It is a vow. It is an unbreakable contract you are making with the most important person in your life, you. This is the day we acknowledge the past, honor the struggle, and then boldly declare it ends here. The story of defeat, of not enough, of maybe next time. That story is over. Because the title of this book, It's Not Over Until You Win, is not an arrogant boast. It is the purest, most fundamental statement of self-determination a human being can make. It means that no external force, no circumstance, and no negative voice, not even your own, gets to decide the conclusion of your story. Only you do. Winning in this context isn't about crushing an opponent. It isn't about a trophy, a paycheck, or a headline. It's about completion. It's about fulfilling the potential that resides within you. It's about looking back and knowing you gave your absolute, uncompromising best. You may have lost battles, but you have not lost the war. You may have stumbled, but you have not fallen forever. The simple fact that you are here listening to these words means the flame of hope, the fire of purpose, is still burning within your heart. Over the next chapters, we are going to fan that flame. We are going to build the mental and emotional armor you need. We are going to dismantle the limiting beliefs that have held you captive. This is the day we shift from hoping to knowing, from trying to doing. Let the world, let your doubt, let your fear say whatever they want. Let them shout, let them whisper. Our answer is simple, firm, and absolute. It's not over. It is not over until you have claimed the victory that only you can define. Let's begin. Chapter 2. The Philosophy of the Finish Line. Before we take a single step forward, we have to clarify the destination. We have to truly understand the philosophy of the finish line. Most people live and work toward an external finish line, a promotion, a sales goal, a wedding date, a weight on the scale. When they hit it, they celebrate for a moment, and then the joy fades, because they've attached their internal sense of winning to something external and temporary. This audiobook is dedicated to the internal finish line. The mantra, "It's not over until you win," doesn't mean you get the perfect outcome every time. It means you become the person who is incapable of quitting. The win is the development of your character. The win is the unwavering commitment to your own growth. The win is choosing integrity and courage over comfort and convenience every single day. When we say, "I will win," we are essentially declaring, "I will not be defeated by my own mind." We are saying, "I will show up for myself, especially when it's hard. I will push through the resistance until the job, the development, the effort, the becoming is complete." Think about your greatest struggle right now, the one thing that keeps you up at night, the one area of life where you feel like you are failing. It could be a business venture, a health goal, a relationship, or a creative project. Now, take a second and imagine that project or goal doesn't work out exactly as you planned. Does that mean you are a failure? Absolutely not. Failure is an event, a result, a moment in time. It is not an identity. The real loss, the only loss that matters, is when you internalize that setback and choose to let it define you. When you voluntarily lay down your tools and accept the verdict that someone else gave you. Your job is to separate the outcome from the effort. The world can control the outcome. The market can shift. Someone else can make a decision. Life can throw an unexpected curveball. But the world cannot and will not control your effort, your commitment, your tenacity. That is your sacred ground. That is the one place where you have absolute, total, unquestionable authority. We will focus our energy there. Starting now, the win is the consistency of your effort. The win is the resilience you show when the world is telling you to fold. And the great paradox of this journey is that when you redefine winning as unwavering effort, the external results have a funny way of finally falling into place. Chapter 3. The Anatomy of a Setback. If you are committed to the principle that it's not over until you win, you must become a master of the setback. The average person views a setback as a wall, an immovable object placed squarely on the road to their success. They see it as a sign, a cosmic message that they are not meant to proceed. But you, the person who has made the unbreakable vow to win, must view a setback not as a wall, but as a doorway. A doorway that leads to essential information you could not have acquired any other way. We need to perform an autopsy on the loss, not to mourn it, but to understand it. We are going to change the term from failure to feedback. A setback is simply data. It is objective information delivered through a painful, subjective experience. Think of an inventor. When a prototype fails, they don't cry and quit inventing forever. They look at the broken pieces, the melted wiring, or the structure that collapsed. They look at the result and they ask one critical, non-emotional question. What did this tell me about the laws of physics and engineering that I didn't know before? They adjust, they rebuild, they iterate. Their process is a constant cycle of setback to feedback, to adjustment, to advance. This must become your process. Dissecting the setback. When you encounter resistance, rejection, or a loss, you have a choice. You can collapse emotionally, or you can grab your mental scalpel and perform the dissection. Here is the simple three-part anatomy of every setback. Ask yourself these questions. 1. The what. Identify the event, the data. What exactly happened? Be brutally honest and specific. Don't say, "My business failed." Say, "My second quarter marketing campaign resulted in a negative ROI of 15%. What specific action led to this result? E.g., I stopped making calls. I ate food I told myself I wouldn't. I avoided the difficult conversation. Remove the emotion. Write it down as a cold, hard fact. This step separates the event from your identity. 2. The why. Determine the root cause, the lesson. Now, look at the fact and ask why. Was it a strategy problem? The plan was flawed. Was it an execution problem? The plan was good, but I didn't stick to it. Or was it an external problem? The market shifted, I got sick. Most setbacks come down to a breakdown in execution, a moment where discipline failed the strategy. This is your most valuable insight. This is the lesson you paid for. 3. The how. Create the new protocol, the adjustment. Once you know why you stumbled, the final step is to create a new, immediate plan. This is the antidote to the poison of quitting. If the lesson was that you lost momentum when you relied on willpower, the new protocol is to build a system, an external trigger or routine that forces you to take action regardless of how you feel. If the lesson was that you spent money on the wrong advertising channel, the new protocol is to test smaller, cheaper campaigns on 3 different channels before committing the big budget. A setback is valuable only if it leads to an adjustment. If you fall down and stand up the same way, you're guaranteed to trip over the same rock. You must change your approach. The victim versus the victor. The true battle in the wake of a setback is the one fought in your mind, specifically against the insidious voice of the internal critic. The victim says, "This happened to me. It's unfair. I'm not good enough." The victim focuses on the pain of the event, which paralyzes them. The victor says, "This happened for me. It is information. Now, what does it require of me?" The victor focuses on the power of the lesson, which propels them forward. The moment you shift from asking, "Why me?" to asking, "What now?" you strip the setback of its power to hold you back. You reclaim your agency. Remember this. The most resilient people are not those who avoid setbacks. They are simply those who have developed a faster, cleaner protocol for processing them. They don't spend days wallowing. They spend hours dissecting. They feel the sting, they extract the lesson, and they immediately implement the change. Their setbacks don't accumulate into defeat. They accumulate into wisdom. From this moment on, your mindset must be, "I don't lose. I either win or I learn." And as long as you are learning, as long as you are adjusting, as long as you are still moving, even an inch, the grand conclusion remains the same. It's not over. Now that we understand how to process the event, we need the internal fuel to keep fighting. In the next chapter, we dive into the core strength that keeps you moving forward. Resilience. Chapter 4. Fueling the Inner Fire. We have established the vow. It's not over until I win. We have established the protocol. Setbacks are data, not destiny. But making a vow and having a plan requires fuel. It requires an engine that can withstand the grind, the doubt, and the sheer fatigue of repeated effort. That engine is called resilience. Resilience isn't just bouncing back. It's the profound ability to grow stronger in the presence of friction. It is the inner fire that keeps burning, even when the storms of life try to drown it out. The lie of the internal critic. The biggest threat to your inner fire is not the external world, but the internal critic. This is the voice of doubt, often inherited from old fears or past failures, that whispers, "You tried. That's enough. Quit now before it gets worse." When you face a setback, this critic gets loud. It loves to generalize. A failed business pitch turns into, "See, you're a terrible communicator." A bad day of eating turns into, "You have no discipline and you never will." Your job is to become an expert editor of your internal script. Here is the core rule. Never let a temporary result define a permanent identity. If you miss a workout, don't say, "I am lazy." Say, "I missed my scheduled workout today. I will do it tomorrow." If you lose a client, don't say, "I am a bad salesperson." Say, "This client was not the right fit. I will refine my pitch and contact 3 new prospects." Dispute the generalization. Attack the lie with the precision of truth. Keep your identity clean, separate from the temporary event. Building your resilience rituals. Resilience is not a personality trait. It is a practice. It is the daily, non-negotiable ritual that reminds you of your strength and your purpose. Number 1. The daily win. Before you do anything else, commit to one small, achievable daily win. This is an action that only serves to prove to yourself that you are disciplined and you can keep your promises. It could be making your bed, writing 50 words, or meditating for 5 minutes. When the big goals feel distant and overwhelming, you can look back and say, "I won today. I kept my first promise." This builds momentum and self-trust. Number 2. The power of just 5 more. The most difficult moment in any struggle is usually just before the breakthrough. When you are tired and tempted to quit, invoke the mantra, "just 5 more." If you're running, run 5 more steps. If you're writing, write 5 more minutes. If you're solving a problem, try 5 more approaches. This is a mental trick that breaks through the emotional ceiling of your perceived limit. Often, those 5 more minutes are the moment you move from exhaustion to true flow, realizing you had more left in the tank than you thought. The energy source. You're unshakable. Why? The most powerful source of fuel for the inner fire is your why, your purpose. It is easy to push yourself for a paycheck or a title, but those external motivators are flimsy. They vanish when the economy turns or the goal post shifts. Your unshakable why must be deeply personal and values-driven. Are you fighting for your family's security? Are you fighting to prove a limiting belief wrong? Are you fighting to express a unique gift the world needs? When the motivation is low, stop looking at the how, the task, and look fiercely at the why, the meaning. Close your eyes right now for a second, if you can, and visualize the moment of your win. See the feeling, the relief, the pride. Feel the texture of that moment. That feeling is your fuel. Anchor your effort to that feeling, not the fear of the struggle. Remember what you are doing here. You are not just pursuing a goal, you are forging a warrior. The pain you feel is not punishment. It is the purification of your resolve. Every time you refuse to quit, every time you dispute the critic, every time you commit to that 5 more, you are strengthening the core of who you are. You are proving that your spirit is stronger than any circumstance. The inner fire is burning, and it's time to translate that heat into motion. The difference between those who win and those who merely try is not their potential, but their consistent action. In the next chapter, we will discuss how to move past perfectionism and procrastination and into the powerful rhythm of the next small step. Chapter 5. The Power of the Next Small Step. Motivation is a wonderful spark, but it is consistency that is the fuel and action that is the engine. Many people who feel inspired after a powerful moment, like listening to this audiobook, struggle with the shift from intention to implementation. The massive goal, the vision of the ultimate win, is so vast that it can freeze you in your tracks. This is the phenomenon of analysis paralysis and overwhelm. The answer is surprisingly simple, yet profoundly effective. You must fall in love with the next small step, the lie of the leap. We often romanticize the leap, the sudden dramatic action that changes everything. But in the real world of winning, progress is not just made by leaps, it's made by a relentless series of tiny, almost invisible steps. If your goal is to write a 300-page book, staring at the blank page is overwhelming. But writing one sentence is not. If your goal is to lose 50 pounds, the 50 is terrifying. But drinking one extra glass of water is manageable. The reason this works is psychological. When you complete a small, manageable task, your brain releases a tiny burst of dopamine, a reward. That reward validates the action and makes you more likely to repeat it. You are literally neuro-reprogramming yourself for consistency. The golden rule of momentum. Here is the rule for sustaining momentum. Never allow a task to be so big that you can rationalize skipping it. The momentum is more important than the magnitude. Don't aim for the perfect workout. Aim for the 5-minute workout. If you feel good after 5 minutes, you'll probably keep going. If you don't, you still kept your streak alive. Don't wait for a dedicated 2-hour block to work on your project. Use the 5 minutes you have right now. Send that one email. Review that one document. The true enemy of the win is not failure. It is inactivity. Inactivity breeds doubt. Doubt breeds fear, and fear breeds quitting. Your goal is to become an unstoppable force of minimum effort. Show up. Do the smallest possible thing. The act of showing up protects the streak, and the streak is the foundation of the win. Overcoming the perfection trap. Perfectionism is just procrastination wearing a nice suit. It tells you, don't start until you have the perfect plan, the perfect tools, or the perfect time. It uses the desire for quality as an excuse for inaction. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to finish. Done is always better than perfect. In the world of winning, your first draft, your first prototype, your first attempt is called version 1.0. It's supposed to be flawed. It's supposed to be messy. Its sole purpose is to serve as the starting point, the crude material that you will refine through iteration. If you are waiting for perfection, you will wait forever. Instead, launch quickly, learn immediately, and improve constantly. This ties back directly to our lesson on the setback. Rapid action creates data, and data creates wisdom. The final, unbeatable act. The ultimate power of the next small step is that it protects you from the emotional volatility of the journey. When the big setbacks hit, your emotional mind will scream, "Stop, it's hopeless." But your disciplined, action-oriented mind will simply ask, what is the very next single tiny action required right now? It pulls you out of the emotional drama and lands you back in the practical present. Did you just get a massive rejection? Next small step, open the next prospect file. Did you have a terrible eating day? Next small step, pour a glass of water and plan the next meal. The one defining characteristic of those who ultimately win is that they never let their emotional state override their commitment to the process. They keep showing up. They keep doing the next thing. They keep moving the rock, even if it's just a millimeter a day. This consistent, unflinching commitment to the process transforms you. It transforms your identity. It's time to realize that you are not merely participating in a journey, you are rewriting the story of who you are. In the next chapter, we will learn how to take ownership of our narrative and consciously write ourselves into the role of the victor. Chapter 6. Rewriting Your Story, From Victim to Victor. Every single person is living inside a story. You are the author, the narrator, and the main character of your life's drama. The problem is, for many years, you may have been telling yourself the wrong story. The moment a setback hits, the old, limiting script plays. I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. I'm always unlucky. This always happens to me. This is the victim narrative. It frames life as something that happens to you, leaving you powerless. If you are going to truly embody the commitment, it's not over until you win. You must recognize that your ultimate victory won't be in changing the world, but in changing your script. Deconstructing the victim narrative. The victim narrative is defined by three primary elements that must be dismantled. Number 1. Blame. The victim always seeks an external cause for their pain. It was the economy. It was my boss. It was my genetics. This may be true, but it is disempowering. Number 2. Permanence. The victim believes the current negative situation is fixed and will never change. This is just how I am. My life will always be this difficult. Number 3. Pervasiveness. The victim allows one area of struggle to contaminate the rest of their life. A single bad review means my whole career is a mistake. To rewrite your story, you must replace these three lies with ownership, possibility, and perspective. The act of taking authorship. The victor narrative is built on radical ownership. Taking ownership doesn't mean taking blame for things outside your control. It means taking responsibility for your response to everything. The victim says, "My life is hard because of what they did to me." The victor says, "My life is hard, but I am in control of what I do next." This shift in language is the difference between stagnation and momentum. When you take authorship, you realize that you possess the one thing nobody can ever take from you, the power of choice. You choose what a setback means. You choose whether to get up. You choose the tone of your self-talk. You choose the direction of your effort. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you, and you pick up the pen to write the next chapter yourself. The narrative reframe. How do you apply this practically? You consciously change your internal dialogue when resistance hits. Instead of accepting the old script, force a narrative reframe using these prompts. Old script. The victim says, "I failed. I should never have tried that." New script. The victor says, "I learned a multi-million-dollar lesson for free. I am smarter and more prepared for the next attempt." Old script. The victim says, "I'm exhausted. I can't keep this pace up." New script. The victor says, "My body and mind are adapting to a new level of performance. This friction means I am growing stronger." Old script. The victim says, "I got rejected. This proves I'm not talented enough." New script. The victor says, "Rejection is simply a misaligned fit. I am one no closer to the yes that is meant for me." Every time you choose the victor script, you are not lying to yourself. You are speaking a higher truth, the truth of your potential, not the truth of your temporary circumstance. The legacy of the victor. The power of rewriting your story is that it doesn't just change your present. It creates a new legacy for your future self. When you look back on this period of struggle, what do you want the title of this chapter to be? Do you want it to be "The Chapter Where I Gave Up"? Or do you want it to be "The Chapter Where I Forged My Unbreakable Will"? The story you are writing right now, by listening to these words, by standing up one more time, by doing that next small step, is the testament to your character. You are becoming a living example of resilience. You are proving that the most powerful force in the universe is a human being who has finally taken control of their own narrative and refuses to be written off. You have the pen in your hand. The paper is clean for the next paragraph. Write a story worthy of the person you know you can be. Now, with this narrative firmly in place, we move to the final necessary component, the unbeatable commitment. The moment we make the vow permanent and unshakable. Chapter 7. The Unbeatable Commitment. We have reached the end of this journey together, but this is truly the beginning of your greatest story. We've drawn the line, studied the setback, fueled the inner fire, taken the small steps, and rewritten the script. All of this preparation, all of this work, leads to this single critical moment, the unbeatable commitment. A commitment is not a hope, it is not a wish. It is not a tentative promise you break when things get hard. A true unbeatable commitment is a non-negotiable order given to yourself. It is the decision made once, so you don't have to make it 1,000 times in the heat of the battle. The vow of persistence. The greatest myth of success is that it belongs to the talented. The truth is, success belongs to the persistent. Persistence is the conscious decision to keep showing up after every rational argument has told you to quit. It is the ultimate expression of the belief in your own capacity. I want you to take a moment and feel the weight of this vow. It means that when you are tired, when you are discouraged, when the entire world questions your sanity, you will not debate, you will not argue. You will simply act. Your commitment must be so strong that it eliminates the possibility of quitting from your vocabulary. Quitting is no longer an option on the table. The only option is forward. Sealing the deal, your non-negotiables. To make this commitment unbeatable, you need to tie it to non-negotiable actions that represent the final word on your effort. These are your anchors in the storm. Number 1. The commitment to the process, not the prize. Forget the outcome for a moment. You are committing to your daily win from Chapter 4. You are committing to your next small step from Chapter 5. Your success is guaranteed not when you cross the finish line, but when you simply do the work today without fail. The prize is a consequence of the process. The commitment is the process. Number 2. The commitment to the lesson, not the loss. You will no longer treat setbacks as personal failure. You vow that every piece of negative feedback, every rejection, every fall will be immediately dissected for its lesson from Chapter 3. You commit to being a student of the struggle, never a victim of it. Number 3. The commitment to your future self. This is perhaps the most important vow. You are not fighting for who you are right now. You are fighting for the victor you are becoming. Commit that you will never betray the vision of the person you know you can be. That future self is depending on the strength you show today. Do not let them down. The final declaration. You have listened to this entire message because a part of you already knows the truth. You have what it takes. The strength is not something you have to find. It is something you have to unleash. The power you seek has always resided in your refusal to surrender. Let us bring the meaning of the title to its ultimate conclusion. When you say, "It's not over until I win," you are claiming ownership over your destiny. You are declaring that your life will not be defined by accident or circumstance, but by unbreakable will. This is your battle cry. This is your personal anthem. This is the promise you make in the quiet moments that will sustain you in the loudest chaos. Now, I ask you, the listener, make this commitment real. Say it out loud or feel it deeply in your heart. Let this declaration ring in the silence, sealing the deal between you and your future. Repeat after me. I am the author of my story. My effort is my non-negotiable vow. I choose the lesson over the loss. I do not quit. It is not over. It is not over until I win. Go forward now. Go with the full understanding that the game is still on, the timer is still running, and your victory is inevitable because you have simply decided it is so. Your time is now. Go, win. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more life-changing and life-winning audiobooks.